So this is the final installment for the weekly quick hack series of the lower back. And two things you're going to require this time is maybe a couple of books or a rolled up towel next to a countertop such as your kitchen sink and a wall. Oftentimes what we'll see with people that have a lot of compression or tension built up in their lower back and not a lot of movement is that certain muscles neighboring the lower back may not be working as hard as they should be, making that lower back take on a lot more of the work that they are not doing. And one of those muscles is the front of your thigh. The group is called the quadriceps, but there's one muscle in particular in that group called the rectus femoris. And it attaches the front of your pelvis down to your shin bone. It crosses the hip and the knee. It does a lot of things. In fact, one of the biggest muscles for helping to provide proper posture. And if these muscles are kind of sleeping from sitting too long, we might want to kind of give them a refresher course in what they should do. So I'm going to use this wall right here, and I'm going to walk my feet out far enough, keeping the feet parallel, pointing straight ahead and parallel left to right, and I'm just going to slide my body down the wall until I get almost to a right angle at the knee. The knees themselves should be directly above the ankle bones. So from a side perspective, that shin bone should be at a right angle from the floor. For the most part, I'm trying to create as many right angles as possible at the ankle, the knee, the hip, and I'm going to keep my head against the wall so that my spine is aligned against the wall with a straight edge. And now I'm starting to feel some work on the front of my thighs, especially that rectus femoris muscle. And maybe I'll start to wiggle my toes so that I remind myself I shouldn't be gripping for dear life, and most of the pressure should be descending into my heels. That instantly causes these muscles to awaken even to a greater degree. After a desired amount of time, one that you feel you can stand so long but without falling to the ground, you can just slide on up and walk around and just get a sense of how that's feeling. Did that alleviate some of the tension and pressure in your lower back? Do your legs feel like they're participating more to support most of your body? Chances are you're going to feel a little bit different after that. Now, speaking of getting your weight in the heels, oftentimes when we get low back issues, our weight shifts, maybe forward or sideways. So what we're going to try and do with this inclined plane is to drive the body into a nice tall posture. If you don't have one of these inclined planes at home, maybe a small step or a couple of books or even a rolled up towel will suffice. I'm going to imagine that I'm at the kitchen sink right now, holding on to that sink with both hands evenly, and I'm going to place the front portions of my feet, the toes and the balls of the feet, up on an elevated surface, and my heels can maintain themselves on the floor if needed. And I'm going to look down at my feet to make sure they're really parallel, because chances are, if I'm not paying attention, I've got one foot that turns out a little bit more often than I'd like. And when I don't notice it, it probably is going to be happening. So really look down and see, are my feet parallel in all directions? And then bring the hips directly above the heels and bring the shoulders directly above the hips. And if you can, bring the head directly above the shoulders. So what we're doing here is trying to maintain this nice vertical stacking of the head directly above the shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. Now, a lot of people feel this as a calf stretch in the lower legs and the backside. Well, that's true because they're going to need to lengthen out. Some people may actually feel their lower back stretch out, or the back of their thighs, the hamstring muscles. Anywhere around there is most likely going to have to lengthen for a lot of people, while other muscles are learning how to shorten maybe for the first time in a while. In essence, we're trying to create a balance of tension in the muscles so that they understand that one should not be pulling more than the other. And the more we can reinforce these movements, the more aligned our body's going to be and the less pressure's on that lower back. So try sitting against the wall, creating right angles, and then try standing nice and tall with all your joints stacked on top of each other and see how that feels.